Hello, hello, hello. I think we have an interesting little while ahead of us here because I'm sort of battling the internet all of a sudden on my end. So we'll see how it goes. Uh, yeah, the cache was filling up there. I had to pull back to a slightly lower quality, but it seems to have ironed out, and we'll continue and see where we go for the next 30 minutes or so. We'll chit chat about, I don't really have anything planned other than just to take any questions. So if you do have any specific questions about any of this fun stuff, put them in the chat with at here to record, or maybe the word question too works just fine, and it'll pop up here on the screen nice and big for me. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger so I can see it even clearer. I like to ask where people are tuning in from today, and I have a few answers already here. Randy's coming in from Dripping Springs in Texas, which is excellent. And Jonas coming in from rainy Germany. Very good. Hey, MT, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it a lot. And Christian from Belgium, which is also nice and cool. And yeah, exactly. We have a 360p John thumbnail. Now, that is, in that instance, that wasn't entirely the internet's fault. That was my fault. Time got the better of me, as it sometimes does before these live streams, and yeah, I got a little bit distracted with other things, and then I was downloading the thumbnail, and I didn't really get the best quality version that I wanted, but it'll do for it'll do for now. Obviously, it's already been and gone. Um, from Houston here, which is nice as well. Lots of US folks, which is pretty cool too. Don in the US, and so's John. Hey, John, nice. Thanks for stopping by. And sunny Munich. Yeah, it's sunny. Not so rainy today here. It's sunny Sweden, and in the background for me, you can just about see that as the sun comes in. I also have a light behind me too, which is adding a little bit more. I should probably. It'll be fine. You can let me know if it gets distracting as we go through the next little while. And Germany as well, and which is nice, and the UK. Lots of familiar faces. I always like to see familiar faces and new faces pop in as well, which is excellent. And Scotland, I'm at this point I'm just going to go through everybody because people who were nice enough to answer my question. Where are you coming from? Oh, I missed a couple already. Sorry about that. Chris coming in from PA, the US, and Canada as well. The Unmarketing Group. Thanks for stopping by. 6 Minute Media says a well-deserved congratulations on 25K from Glasgow. Yeah, actually, that was the main topic of today's video for sure. Hitting 25K on the subscribers, which is I'm super happy about. Definitely, it's the last few weeks and months have been quite the increase in that for sure because of all the H2R mini content, and just in the last year, people getting super into this kind of content. So it's really good to see. People come in and ask questions and all sorts of stuff like that. So I'm really appreciating it. Oh, we got loads of people coming in from all different places. This is, I guess I do need some sort of map of some sort to cover all of these, but Norway, Denmark, Poland, excellent. And more from England, Canada. I guess the delay is big enough now that people are finally finding my initial question and answering it now, which is excellent. The first thing I was going to chat about was last week's stream a little bit. So I had I'm just going to pull this up in the background here because I thought I had it open, but I didn't. I had Aaron Parecki on the stream last week, and he was sort of helping me build the PK1 Extreme stand, which went pretty well. I think it was quite fun to do. Let me just make sure my audio is muted coming out of the ATEM here. I'll just turn it off. I'm just loading up in the background here so you can see what I'm going to talk about, and then I will talk about it. So specifically, now you can see it. Specifically here, I had Aaron and myself kind of mixed together. So I was sending up this main feed of me building the stand, and then I had another feed of me where you could see me building the stand, and then a third of Aaron here coming in on the picture-in-picture. And where things got quite complex, actually, and I explained this in the post show a little bit, but I thought I'd just tuck into a little bit here on the main show, is that I'm sending two feeds actually. I'm sending this main feed in the middle here is actually a SRT feed, and then over on the side here I have a zoom feed, and then Aaron's sending a SRT feed as well. All of this being mixed in the cloud by oh, excuse me, I'm just gonna have some water. By our dear friend of the channel, Jonas. He was kind enough to help me out a lot, and he took all the feeds and mixed them in vmix and then sent it out to the stream. And I created this little gear demo of it last week, and I thought I'd just show that off real quickly as well. So over on this side is my stuff. Now this is a very simplified version for sure, but what you can see here is the gear that I was using. So I was, kind of camera into the A10 Mini Extreme in my case, but easier just to narrow it down a little bit. And then from there I had the Pearl Nano, which is sending that SRT feed up to the cloud. And then I was also joined a Zoom call on my laptop as well. And Aaron was doing basically the same thing over on his side here. Camera, ATEM, joining the Zoom call, and Pearl. And then on the AWS side of things, where in the cloud we have two computers running. So this is sort of the network part, for example. And then from there we had two computers running, and one was the main vmix feed, which was doing all the cutting between all the shots and all the feeds that we were sending. And then there was another instance running, which was just a Zoom, sort of a Zoom linking feed, which was allowing us all to connect together, me to send another feed, Jonas to talk in our ears. So you can't actually see this, of course, in the live stream, but Jonas was there, and he was talking in our ears, giving us some feedback along the way, just in case things weren't working out, or things were not going as expected, or things were going well. Either way, he was there talking in our ears. So if you haven't watched that stream yet, it's worth just jumping in there and flicking around a little bit on it, because it was interesting. It was a really interesting stream to do, and I really liked it as a proof of concept in a sense. I wouldn't do that every week, but what it allowed me to do in this case, in my home internet here, was send two feeds, one quite low quality Zoom feed and one pretty okay quality SRT feed, and then in the cloud we could mix all that together. What it meant was I didn't have to bring in Aaron's feed, mix that here, and then send all that off to YouTube or whatever I wanted to send it. So that allowed for, well, actually allowed for me to fall out of the show, and Aaron could have, talked and kept it going while I fixed any problems on my end. If it was all hosted from my internet here, which is 4G, then I would have been a little bit concerned about it falling apart. So that was a kind of a look, and I wonder if I would be wise enough to just jump back into Gear here and just show one little feature that I added this week in H2R Gear, which is the ability to route cables a little bit easier than you could before. Now this example here is not maybe the best, maybe not the best example. Let me get a better example to show you, because I have a sort of a side-by-side that I created so I could see a really good example of how these things work. So I'm going to just hide this one off to the side here. If I show you this and go to my multi-view, you can see on the side here I have cables that are kind of magically doing their thing. But what I'm able to do by default is map these cables the way they go. So I've sort of just used some mathematics to draw these cables, but you might not want that necessarily. So what you're able to do now is add these little handles, or pins as I call them. So here's one where the cable can be dragged that way instead. And what that means is I have like a before and after kind of look here. You can see on the side without cable pins, if I actually just remove these two, this is the sort of typical H2R Gear magical way to do it. But you can see with these little pins added, then everything looks a little bit better. And I'm able to make some small adjustments of my own here, like maybe I want this one to just be down here. This is something that wasn't previously possible, but it is now. And I will admit that H2R Gear is coming on nicely. It's still in beta, but there's plenty of people in there giving me lots of feedback, and I think if nothing goes wrong over the next few weeks, it will leave that beta state and turn into like a paid product. I'll talk about that in a few weeks' time, hopefully, on the live stream here with a more of a official launch. But I'm quite excited to get it out there and let people use it more and more. I know a lot of people are not necessarily using it because I've still said that it's in beta, which is perfectly fine. You might not want to trust the beta phase as your go-to piece of drawing software, but many folks have used it and given me lots of great feedback, and it's already improved a lot in the last few months. And once that becomes like a product and it's out there for people to subscribe to and use all the time, then I think it's going to get better and better. So you're welcome to go over to h2rgear.com. I'm just going to post a link here in the chat to that. We're going to talk about this a lot over the next few weeks, I'm sure. But for now, you can pop over to h2rgear.com and give it a go if you haven't already. If you have, then thanks for all your feedback so far and all of the helpful advice that's been sent my way, for sure. It's really helped. Just to follow back on the questions from before, here's one, Mikael, who says, what type of cloud have I used? In this case, maybe the terms will escape me now that I'm answering the question, but I've been using AWS. They have a Windows server that runs Teradici, and then from there you can choose what configuration of that computer you want. And I've been running G4DNs in the 4XL variety. Now, I know I'm getting very specific there. If you haven't dug into this stuff before, then maybe that's just letters and numbers to you. And as of a month or two ago, those were just letters and numbers to me too, but something I've been digging into. And I did mention in the past on these streams that I want to dig into that a lot more. So I think more to come on that for sure in the future. But for now, that's a little sneak peek into what I'm using for that. Graham says, does your Gear program have a way to print off big diagrams like that on multiple pages, or scaled or saved as a PDF? Definitely something I want to add in the future for sure. At this point, I tried the PDF exports the ways that I was familiar with doing it, but I couldn't really quite get a really good way to do it out of the box without a lot of configuration. So I'm sort of keen to keep that as a big project and then work on it whenever I'm ready to work on it for sure. Gonna have some more water as I ramble. Oh, and just a reminder, I'm here to record. If you're part of the Discord server, the I'm here to record Discord server, then you'll have seen my post a few times now. But below these videos, actually, I should just check this before I said that I actually did this. Yes, below these videos, I have a link to the brand new, very limited merch options that we have. This T-shirt is one of them. I bought this myself through the same link, and then a mug as well. I'm here to record. So if you're part of the server, jump in there and grab some merch, as it were, which is fun. I really like to be able to offer something that sort of links us together. So grab it. Jonas says, I pulled it off. I got all the right terms there with the AWS stuff. Excellent. I'm happy to hear that I managed to pull that off. Just throwing it out there. MT says, suggestion for H2R Gear. Can you please add a DC input option? Yes. If you're not familiar with Gear, you haven't used it yet, something I've chosen to not include up until this point is power, any sort of power, DC, AC, whatever cables that come with power. I have some thoughts on that. One of those is like a lot of devices definitely need, almost every device needs power anyway. So I've kind of decided that that's just a given, but granted, that doesn't necessarily have to be that way. As the program and as the application builds and builds in size, I've realized there's more connectors than I can even cover anyway. So a way for users to add their own types of connectors will be something I'm thinking about, and I want to get right for sure. So I'll try my best. But it's definitely important, definitely. Lots of other hellos here from lots of people. Thank you so much. Congratulations from Arshad PT. Thank you for the congratulations. I appreciate it a lot. Oh, and thanks to Minion of Discord and Taekwondo. I also saw they became members just before the stream went live earlier. I don't have it here because I jumped in and started grabbing the chat after that point, but otherwise, thank you so much. If you want to become a member of the channel, you can watch the post shows on demand. The post shows are available for everyone whenever it's live, but on demand, it's for members only. So feel free to sign up and jump in. Oh, and here was that link I shared earlier. H2RGear.com. Go visit that too, definitely. Comment from Emma here saying, hi from Copenhagen, not too far away. Thanks for all your good work. Thank you so much for tuning in, definitely. I appreciate you jumping in. And Brad from Canada. It's yeah, I really do need to see the map version of where people are coming in from. It's really nice to see that global perspective of where folks are joining from, for sure. Here was a question, a feature request. Let me see. It hasn't updated on my end yet. I'm waiting for that. A feature request from Co-op for 2 for H2R Graphics. A way to randomly pick one of the YouTube chat participants would be super useful for running a quick giveaway. That's actually not a bad idea at all. Yeah, I had lots of ideas for the previous version of H2R Graphics, things that I could add and get in there for sure. Here's that comment just to show it up there. And I started delving into some of those things in the last few months. I wanted to add more and more interaction things. Now that I was doing more and more live streams, I started to see more and more use cases for these sorts of features. But, and there's a but. But with V2 being fully ongoing, something I'm working on a lot at the minute, for example, basically every day I'm spending on working on H2R Graphics version 2. So it's coming on nicely, for sure, but it's a big job. In fact, there's a few very nice folks in the Discord who have been helping me with the alpha version. I'm going to actually throw it out there one more time because I think it's worth mentioning for sure, which is, and excuse me while I click on a few things here, which is that I am running the alpha version for version 2 of H2R Graphics, a complete rewrite at the minute. So it's for a very select group of people. And if you want to be part of that group of people, then you're more than welcome. The only thing I do ask is that whenever I send you messages on Discord, then you are able to get back to me and have time to play with the app. In the future, we'll do a beta version, but for now, the alpha version is very hands-on. In fact, over the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've been on probably about 30 Zoom calls now with all these people, just walking them through certain features and letting them play with the app and see how it works for them and getting feedback. And it's come on a long way because of them. So if you are somebody who has some time in your hands or you really want to try this out, then do send me a message now on Discord, private message, and just say you're up for being a part of the alpha. And then from there, I will get in touch about how we can work out meetings and Zoom calls. But I would ask that you do need to have some time to do that. And if I find that you're not able to do it and you don't have any time, then we can just push you over to the beta crowd and we'll get to it eventually. So that's just my little call out. If you want to be a part of it, I more than welcome it. But for sure, it needs to be something you're able to commit to, which many folks, it seems, are able to, which is excellent. Doug here saying, congrats on the 25K. Thanks, Doug. Here's to the next 25. Exactly. I'll do this same thing again, 25 more. It's taken me a while to get this far, but if I keep, cranking out some videos, I can maybe get there a little bit faster to the next 25K. And Mikhail says, nice video with solar panels install. If you haven't watched that yet, Doug just posted or maybe it was 1 hour long, something like that, video of him upgrading the panels on the roof of his trailer to better, more efficient ones maybe. But anyway, it was a good video. It was a nice little, something a little bit different, I would say, on the channel, more of like you might say like a vlog style video, but it's been a while since you've done those sort of trailer updates, so it was really nice to see. Oh, and there's that comment again. Graham, talking about H2R Gear, I believe. How about bidirectional connectors? For example, the ATEM uses it for streaming out, but also gets control signals in from the control panel or companion. You're right, and I'm still holding strong on the belief that it is either an input or an output, because what H2R Gear doesn't do it doesn't tell you if signal is flowing either way. It's just telling you what you've connected to what. If there was a way I could show that data is going that way and data is going this way, then I can understand needing the bidirectional sort of stuff. Maybe there's a way to show that, but for now, I think it makes more sense to say I'm going to connect this to that, and in that case, that one's an input and that one's an output, and it's easy enough to map that. As the software gets better over time, I'll make better ways to uh, rebuild certain gear items so that all that stuff is a lot easier. Right now, it's a little bit more difficult than I would like it to be, but I have some ideas on that. So I don't disagree that the connection is bidirectional, but I think that the cable does connect from one to the other. It's not two cables, and therefore you only need one output, one input, and one cable showing up on the pack list. But I'm keen to keep having this conversation and discussion about it if I'm totally wrong, or at least something I can come up with a solution for sure. Question from MT here. How have Do I have any experience with the Aja Halo or the AJ Halo? We've got one at work aside to the Matrix HDX. I've only ever really seen it in action being used for streams, and I've only really ever used some Aja stuff myself. Actually, I don't have a huge experience with them. What I've found for what I do most of the time is, and certainly up to this point, I always looked at the price of those and never was really able to justify that price for the workflows that I was running. So it's maybe something I can ask them to send my way and maybe borrow for a short term and see how it goes. I find that I did have a video a couple of months ago actually about a Matrix device, the Monarch LCS maybe, and I mean it was a fine device to have, but when you get it in your hands, there's only so much you can really say about it before you're just talking about very specific use cases, I find. So in the case of the Halo, it seems like it's a pretty solid device from what I've heard and what I've seen it in action a few times over the last couple of I guess it's a few years old actually, that device, now that I think about it. But I would say that it'll do the use case, and if it's working well for you, then for sure it's a pretty solid device. And Go Web Technologies eagerly waiting to test updated alpha version of H2R Graphics. Excellent. Yeah, we're on alpha version. Well, I'm on alpha version 3 right now, which is coming along nicely here in the back end, and features are being added. You may or may not, if I can give a little peek behind the curtain, you may or may not realize that my graphics look a little bit different today. So you can see that if you're used to my live stream, you'll see that and if you're used to using H2R Graphics too, you'll see that things look a bit different. And I'll give you one guess as to why they look a little bit different. Because I'm using something new. I'm not ready to show off too much just yet on H2R Graphics, because the only reason actually is because the alpha phase has meant that it's changing like every day. I'm just getting my iPad out here so I can just show you one neat feature while I chit chat away. No, the alpha phase has changed the app like every day. Every time I log in, I kind of think, here's a new way to do that, or here's a better way to do this. So what that means is it wouldn't be right to like show it off just yet in terms of the UI, because I don't really want to show it off and then tomorrow it changes and then we're totally out of date again. So but what I can do is here was another follow-up question about H2R graphics. What about a browser source without a background, like live chat overlay link in Steve? Sorry, it's blocking the name there. Sequin browser extensions version. Yes, in fact, if I show you this, I'm getting lost in all my windows now here. So what you will see if I show you this in one moment. Let me make sure I'm doing this right there. So what you're looking at now is vMix with a single browser source attached to that. And whenever I click on this comment from Guy Cochran here, we want to see the new stuff, then it comes in here. And this is actually going out via key fill from vMix, because this is just a browser source right here with a transparent background. So this is all H2R Graphics version 2, and you can see that it's doing what you just mentioned there, key fill graphics. In fact, if I just show that same comment again, and then I cut to the, let me just click on, oh wait, no, not that one, that one. You can see there that we have the fill, and we have over here, oh wait, I need to turn off the DSK. Okay, yeah, so we have the fill of the graphics, and we have the key of the graphics as well. So it's been pushed out via, what did I say, vMix, in order to do that. And it's working quite well. Let me turn that DSK back on again and get rid of this. Coming together nicely. And the thing I was going to show you, I said I wasn't going to show you any UI stuff, so you're not going to get a look at what's on this iPad. But what I will show you is, just on the iPad, connected to the same network, I am able to show the comments. So it's come a long way since the previous version, that's for sure. Mikhail says the TV guys love the Azure devices. That makes sense to me. And that's the most sneak peek for now on the main show anyway that you're going to get into this stuff. MT says, I've heard this regarding the TV folks liking the Azure. The Matrix work, but not so well as expected. Now we try the Azure. Interesting. This is the kind of devices that you need to test, I think, and get them and test them. And if the manufacturers allow you, or the distributors even, allow you to see these things before you buy them, then it really helps a lot, because sometimes the streaming encoders and devices like that are a little bit of a black box, so to speak. So it can help a lot to see how well it'll work, and if it'll work at all in your setup. So yeah, in that case, it is great to grab it, test it out, and maybe even send it back if you're able to. MT says, a comment remote control. Cool, exactly. That's kind of the idea here in terms of the new way of working with the live chat stuff and data like that, is that not only am I able to see this stuff, but perhaps someone else can help me out, queue up certain questions and comments, get them all filtered into lists that I can only look at those lists. In fact, yesterday I bought a teleprompter for the camera here. Right now I'm just looking into the camera and my monitor's down below, but I have some plans when that comes to really just build like a prompter view, so only I can see the comments coming in, and even better is I only see the comments that are actually flagged for me to consider as something to read. I think that'll help a lot. And now you'll see a feature that does not exist yet in this new version is all of the fun super chat stuff. But here, Graham, thank you so much for the super chat, saying thanks for all your hard work, in my case, my hard work, and patience with all the feature requests. Absolutely not. That's a pleasure to have people trying using this stuff and giving you feature requests. Otherwise, it's literally just me building an application and then nobody uses it, and then I'm just kind of stuck with an application that no one wants. So it's my pleasure to have something to use and try out for sure. I really appreciate the people, especially in the alpha phase now, testing this stuff out, letting me know how it goes for them, and I can make sure that it's going to work for people in the beta, and then whenever the beta finally gets released, then we can make sure it's going to work for people in the real world out there. So thanks to folks like yourself who are spending their time helping me out and doing this stuff. Definitely. Looks like we very rapidly got to the end of the 30 minutes there. We're going to slip into the post show just in a second, but I just want to thank, as I like to do, I'm clicking around here because I'm trying to find the area that I want to see. But like I said earlier, you can always become a member of the channel to see the post-show on demand after the fact. If you're tuning in a few days' time and you want to stick around and find out more information, then you can definitely do that. But I want to thank a couple of folks, Patrick, who became a supreme supporter. I think it was last week, and also Cloud Bedrock. Jim is a big supporter of the channel as well. So thank you both for supporting the channel, and to all the other members too. I really do appreciate folks jumping in and becoming members. Tell you what we'll do is we will slip into the post show now in a second. I will see you over there as I quickly try to hide all these graphics and get some water, and then see you back here in a second or two. Bye bye.